Hello guys and gals, this is Joshua Hatton of jewmalt.com, Jew Malt Whiskey Reviews. You may also know me from Single Cask Nation, the Whiskey Jubilee, and of course Impact's Beverages. Today I'm wearing the jewmalt.com hat. And today I am reviewing two different whiskeys from the Westland Distillery. That's Seattle's single malt distillery. As far as I'm aware, it is America's largest producer of single malt, and that's all they produce is single malt. And these two special editions, I just poured this one. This is called Winter. The two special releases that I'm reviewing are Winter 2016 edition and their Peat Week, which is a whiskey that was released in October. Speaking of winter, I thought that it would be a good idea to get into the holiday spirit. Drinking spirits, it's winter time, or just a few days away. Thought I'd get into the holiday spirit and wear my Rockin' the Dreidel ugly sweater for this review. So I wanted to get a little apropos because I'm drinking a seasonally apropos whiskey. So these whiskeys came to me in fancy schmancy wooden boxes, and each of them came with this sort of, I wouldn't call it a cheat sheet, but it tells you a little bit about the whiskey. For winter, there are your specifications. So there's your different types of woods, New American Oak, ex-bourbon, ex-Oloroso sherry casks. And then, with Westland, they produce different kinds of, they produce single malt using different kinds of barley. So quite often they'll use Washington pale malt. They will use peated Scottish barley, and as you can see, it did say heavily peated malt. And then they have their 5 malt blend, which is a mixture of 5 different types of barley. Chocolate malt being one of them, giving you some wonderful, wonderful flavors. It's a little less than 3 years old, and the alcohol is 50% ABV. So that's winter, and that's what I just put in my glass. I've yet to nose this. I've yet to taste this. I'm just going to go into it a bit blind, which is, other than knowing the details that they put on the pamphlet, I'm going to go into this kind of blind. So here we go. Classic Westland style nose. For those of you that are not familiar with Westland, like I said, they are, it's my understanding, they're America's largest producer of single malt, and their style is more in the vein of solid Japanese whiskey, the Yoichis, the Chichibus, and the Yamazakis of the world, Miyagikyo, all these beautifully designed whiskeys. So off the bat, I'm getting these lovely banana-like notes, Banana Foster. It's warm, it's rich. I don't know if you can hear my cat in the background, but she apparently wants some whiskey too. Lovely light fruity characteristics. Hints of bitter chocolate, like baker's chocolate. Wow. Subtle, like coconut milk. But that banana and chocolate note, which I find to be a nice note that carries through many different Westlands, is right in there. Oh, and here she is. There's Dottie. Lovely, just really inviting and warming. Let's give it a go. See what happens. You'd not know this was 50% alcohol. It's so easy on the palate. The entry is quite light. You're getting these sort of light fruity characteristics. This wonderful sort of malt note that just carries through, a beautiful malty backbone. But the mouth feel, the whiskey itself is quite rich. It's quite oily. A little bit of pepper in the back. It's nice. Hints of sandalwood, lemon curd, lemon meringue. Long finish. That chocolate is a little more of like a milk chocolate kind of note to it. And it keeps on going. Ooh, licorice all sorts. That is a lovely, lovely little whiskey. An easy sipper too. A winter warmer-upper, if you will. In the next video that I'll be doing, I showed you the bottle before. You know what? I'm going to do it now. Hopefully you'll stick around and watch the review of both these whiskeys. So, like I said, this is Westland's Peat Week release. Now, this is the third year in a row that they've done a special Peat Week. You can see it right there, third edition. And according to their handy-dandy cheat sheet, another 50% alcohol. And that's interesting. There's only 8 casks in here. 5 first fill ex-bourbon casks and 3 New Chart American oak casks. And the malt is straight up heavily peated Scottish malt. And the cask maturation times, it says between 25 and 37 months. So between 2 and 3 years, depending on the cask. Oh, wow. Now that's interesting. So the peat is quite subtle. Now I know it's heavily peated, but when you're talking about heavily peated, you're talking about the barley itself. That peating element is part of the drying process of the barley, but the amount of peat comes through dependent on your fermentation process and your distillation process and where you're taking your cuts. So for instance, let's take Ardbeg and Kilchoman. They both have a very similar peating level, about 50 ppm. And Ardbeg tends to have a heavier peat style and it's quite smoky, and the peat is just big and rich. Where Kilchoman is more on a lighter, fruitier style, and it ends quite sweet. Same peating level, they just have different fermentation times, and when the spirit comes off of the still, Kilchoman takes their cuts differently than Ardbeg does. So what we have here is heavily peated barley. I don't know what the ppm is, but off the bat, really what's coming through are these light, delicate fruit notes. Candied lemon peels. Banana skin. That banana note keeps coming back. A bit of apricot, so a little bit of stone fruit in there. There's this kind of like salt. If you were to take white chocolate and salt it, you'd have this here. Slightly coastal, but not so much. Kind of like a cold winter's walk on a beach. That's lovely. It's inviting. All right, I'm going in. Speaking of inviting. Yeah. This is perfect. And by perfect, I mean for people who are getting into peat. Oh, wow. Wow. So for people who are really into peat, are big peat heads, they'll say, ooh, that's a nice, delicate peated whiskey. And for people who are just getting into peat, they may say, ooh, there's a little bit of peat there, but it's not smacking you in the face. You have these wonderful, earthy, smoky tones that are riding right alongside these wonderful dragon fruit notes, lemon notes. Again, the apricot's there, but it's really transformed into this like dragon fruit nut. It's quite tropical. Again, very easy. And I don't mean to say that as if it's not a complex whiskey. It's just easy going down. That 50% alcohol, given the oils that come through, Westland has this naturally, oily texture. It just makes it easy drinking. So for those of you that are used to, say, a 43% or 46% alcohol, or even a 40% alcohol, this shouldn't frighten you in any way. Now, my guess is, with this being sort of a limited edition, the people that are going to get these are the people that pine after limited editions. But if you want to get a good introduction into Westland, you do worse than to get a bottle of these. I think these do a great job in giving you an introduction into the distillery's various styles, and they're just damn good whiskeys. I'm going to nurse these samples. That's it. So thank you for sticking around. Really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this video review. Who knows, if I get more time, I'll do more video reviews. And if I don't, maybe I'll write more. We'll see. If you've been a reader of my blog, you'll know that I have a little less time these days to write reviews. And I apologize for that. Life is busy these days. Anyway, thank you so much. Westland, thank you for the samples. And I hope that you all have a wonderful Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, you name it. There's about 29 or so different holidays right around the December 25th time. So whatever your holiday may be, please enjoy it. Have fun with friends, family, good food, and good whiskey. Cheers.